Welcome to Keep Your Hands in Your Skirt podcast with your host, Sabrina Brightstar. Are you a woman who manages her own set point? Use the universal laws of the universe to raise your vibration. Be a woman who can receive more pleasure, more fun, and more joy. Together, let's claim our infinite worth. Keep Your Hands in Your Skirt is a fun way to remind yourself to mind your own business. Zero in on you and your desires. Say goodbye to judgments and people-pleasing. Join Sabrina and be a woman who can receive, create, and actualize everything you desire.
Hello and welcome. Keep your hand in your skirt. Are you keeping your hand in your skirt, minding your own business? MYOV, mind your own vibration. I love MYOV. It's like BYOB, but MYOV. It's even better than BYOB, isn't it? Anyway, my name is Sabrina. I am your host, Keep Your Hand in Your Skirt podcast. Today's topic is, finding your center. Finding your center. So as you know, if you've been following the podcast, I am a member of Soul Group. It is a group that I actually attend through the Unitarian Universalist, I don't want to call it a church, spiritual center. I don't even want to call it that. Organization. Yeah, I like that. So the Unitarian Universalist organization provides a group called Soul Listening. You can also join this group online if you would like to. And every month there's a different theme, a different topic. And this topic's theme is finding your core center. Finding your core center. So how do you find your core center? Well, in the Soul Group, the theme, they give you a bunch of different exercises. So I actually want to share the exercise with you, one of the exercises with you, so you can play this game with your friends or family, or you can just do your own self-reflecting if you would like to discover what are your core values. The reason I think this is super important and the reason I'm interested in it is because I've been able to notice that my core values change, right? Like as I've evolved, as I've grown, as I've developed, my core values have shifted, have changed. Certain core values are no longer that significant, and new core values that I didn't even know were significant have landed in my field, and I really value. So first of all, if you want to play the game, we're going to play the game, and then I'm going to give you a little bit of information on how I received it and some big ahas that I had through the game. So I'm going to actually read a list. You can write it down if you're playing the game, or you can just keep it in your mind if that's easier for you. But I'm going to say about, looks like there's maybe about 30 different core values that I'm going to read off. So I'm going to read this list, and then the way you play the game is, out of the list, you find your top 5 core values. And then if you want to play the game with someone else, you write down these core value list, and then you ask your friend, your partner, your kids, people you work with, whoever you want to play the game with, what do they think your top core values are, and vice versa. So you get to actually pick what you think other people's core values are, and also, right? And then it's, I don't know, it's really like, it's eye-opening because you discover how people see you. When they're picking your core values, that's how they see you and perceive you. So it is really fun it's just a fun game, and you know, I'm all about the game. So if you have a paper and pencil, I'm going to start reading the list, write down the list, otherwise just hit replay and come back to this. So finding your core center, here are some of your choices, and you're going to pick 5 out of this huge list I'm going to read. Accountability, achievement, adventure, authenticity, balance, boldness, mentoring others, charity, commitment, community, compassion, competence, courage, creativity, diversity, education, excellence, fairness, faithfulness, family, financial stability, forgiveness, freedom, friendship, generosity, hard work, health, honesty, humility, humor/fun, independence, job security, kindness, leadership, learning, loyalty, originality, patience, personal growth, physical fitness, self-care, self-discipline, self-respect, social justice, spirituality, success, trust, vulnerability. Ooh, that was a long list. I'm actually gonna, I'll include that in the show notes in case you really want the list, but you don't want to write down all those words. I'll include it in the show notes. I'll take my time and type that up, write that up for you. Okay, so out of the list, did certain things pop right away and you're like, yeah, that was it. Yeah, that was it. What did you discover? So I want to tell you my experience. These are my top 5. Hey, how well do you know me? Do you think you know me very well? It'd be really funny to see what you think I would pick. So my top 5 that I picked are creativity, freedom, humor, fun, self-care, and vulnerability. And if I had to put them in order, I would pick my most important one is self-care, then freedom, then vulnerability. Those would be my top 3. Wow. So it's super fun to play the game, and it's super fun to see how people receive you or perceive you. And when I've played the game with different people, people all picked for me, like even my family, like people who really, really know me, they picked for me that I was going to say personal growth or spirituality. And what I was discovering, what I was reflecting as I did these, I didn't pick personal growth or spirituality, though in my past, those would have been values that I would have put in my top 5. And what I discovered is values, like what matters, leads to the next value that leads to the next value. So self-care. Like I never in my life would have picked self-care, let alone had it be my number 1. Because I used to have a belief system that we're here to give, right? Like as one of Jehovah's Witnesses, for example, we always use the scripture, like better to give than to receive, right? Like it's all about service to others. And so I was such a codependent because I got my value, my core value, I got my self-esteem, my self-worth by being a people pleaser. So if I could help you feel good, if I could help you achieve whatever, if I could do for you and then you felt good, then I felt good. So my value, my self-esteem was conditional based on how much I could do and help and support you. And I thought that was normal. I thought that was the appropriate way to be. But as a person, like, so spirituality was so important, right? Religion was so important. But then it turned into personal growth. And as I got into personal growth, and the more I started discovering, right, the more I started researching and discovering, I started to realize that if I am not filled up myself, if I don't take care of myself, if I'm not full, I don't have anything to give, and what I'm giving is not pure. Like I'm giving from a should, I'm giving from a responsibility, I'm giving from guilt. And that's not pure giving. So that is actually like, how beneficial is that? Like how beneficial is it if I like need you to be a victim in order for me to help you and then in order for me to feel good about myself? That is not pure giving. That is toxic giving. So I like how Teal Swan talks about the narcissist and the victim. The victim is as big as narcissist as the narcissist. Ooh, think about that for a minute. Maybe I'll trigger you, and that's okay if I do. But listen, think about this concept. For example, the relationships I've had have been with narcissistic men. I've been like, that's my comfort zone. Well, why is that my comfort zone? Because I need to fix somebody. I need to help somebody. I need to like do a lot for somebody in order for me to feel good. So I am using that situation just as much as they're using me. Do you see what I mean? So when I heard from Teal Swan that the victim is actually also a narcissist, and that's why the two pair, I'm like, you know what? That makes sense. So even though as a victim, I might not do or say the what I would call the cruel or the mean things that the narcissist did, I was also being my own narcissist by needing to play with narcissist, right? I needed somebody, right, that was out of balance in order for me to feel balanced. So personal growth really like led me to self-love, led me to self-care. And then it made me realize, like in the scriptures, the Bible says, love your neighbor as you love yourself. Well, when I was in religion only talked about the first half of that equation. Love your neighbor, give, love your neighbor. But how are you supposed to love your neighbor? You're supposed to love your neighbor like you love yourself. So if you're not doing any self-care, if you're not filling yourself up, if you're not knowing you're worthy and you're valuable from your inside, from your inner knowing, your inner sovereignty, it's not a pure giving. So how much, are you loving your neighbor when it's a toxic type of dysfunctional codependency? So for me, like at this point, I've learned like self-care is my number one. And I no longer, I understand that the more I can invest in myself, in my physical care, my mental care, my emotional care, my energetic care, because it's all like entangled, right? Like all of these different parts of us create the whole of us. So as I take the time, right, like in our society, we value people who take care of their body physically, right? If you're investing time and energy to take care of your physical health, that's valued. But how many of us get value or get support by taking care of our emotional or our mental health? How much value is that? And then we feel guilty, like, oh, I'm so selfish that I need time to like decompress. I need time to get my balance back. I need time to refresh and regenerate. But how could, like, did you see what I'm saying? Like, we can not afford to take the time, because if I don't take the time to take care of me, like how am I purely going to be able to give and support others? So I just thought that was interesting as I kind of reflected on my past and how like that never would have showed up on my list. And I'm proud to say, like for me, I'm so proud that I've gotten to the place that not only do I recognize self-care as important, I am not ashamed to admit, and I don't feel guilty admitting it. I know like self-care, self-love is my job and it's my responsibility. Keep your hand in your skirt. See, that's why I love keep your hand in your skirt. It reminds me I got to take care of me. My happiness is not your responsibility. My well-being is not your responsibility. My balance and state of being is not dependent. Nobody else is responsible for me. I got to keep my hand in my skirt and take care of myself. So I love just reflecting core values. What are your core values? Do you want to play the game with someone? Maybe at dinner, you can play it with your family, or at lunch break, you can play it with your coworkers. I just love it. And it's eye-opening to see how people see you. And it actually like will probably really touch your heart. Like what my kids said about me, like it just, I don't know. It touched my heart. So I wanted to share this with you. Keep your hand in your skirt. Have yourself a great day, and I'll see you the next time.